Hello. Thank you for being here today. If you are family of one of our presenters, we have reserved seating for you up front. So please come in and check in with Kerrigan right here, and we can seat you closer to the front. Thank you.
Class of 2025, come on in. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich and your ma is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. You'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, oh, nothing can harm you. With mommy and daddy standing by. when there's no one else around. Me and you and awkward silence. Don't you dare look at me that way. I don't need reminders of how you don't feel the same. Oh, the burning pain, listening to you harp on about some new soulmate. She's so perfect, blah, blah, blah. Oh, how I wish you'll wake up one day. Run to me, confess your love, at least just let me say that when I talk to you, oh Cupid walks right through and shoots an arrow through my heart. And I sound like a loon, but don't you feel it to confess I loved you from the start? Ba-da-ba-da, ba-ba-da-ba-da, da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da. What's a girl to do, lying on my bed, staring into the blue? Unrequited, terrifying. Love is driving me a bit insane. Have to get this off my chest. I'm telling you today that when I talk to you, oh Cupid walks right through and shoots an arrow through my heart. And I sound like a loon, but don't you feel it too? Confess I've loved you from the start.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Richardson, but for those of you who don't know me, I go by Mikey. I'll be giving the land acknowledgement today. As students at Colorado College, we acknowledge that we are studying, existing, and dependent on the lands that hold significant cultural, spiritual, and historical meaning to indigenous peoples who have lived on and cared for this land for thousands of years. Colorado is the homeland of at least 48 federally recognized tribes, the land which Colorado College benefits from and stands on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of Ute, Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Pueblo peoples. Many students attend Colorado College because of its culture and accessibility to the outdoors. This luxury is made possible by the sacrifices and contributions of indigenous peoples of this land. Every student has either fished, hiked, rock climbed, and/or camped on the lands that were beautifully maintained and stewarded by indigenous peoples. This is without a doubt, as Colorado College requires their first-year students to hike through Colorado terrain in their first-year orientation. Garden of the Gods is one of the most common places that students are taken to, where Ute people have been documented to live up there for 3,000 years ago. Additionally, Colorado College has properties beyond the main campus, including the Baca campus in the San Luis Valley and the Gilmore Stabin Cabin in Divide, both situated traditional lands of the Ute, Comanche, Cabot, Cheyenne, and Arapaho people. The indigenous peoples of these lands did not leave randomly, but through the act of intentional genocide by European colonizers that was facilitated by greed for gold, resources, and hate. We are socialized through our education and political systems to think that violence of US history is complicated, when it is simply a fact, simply but hard to hear. We must acknowledge the atrocities of the Ute, Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Pueblo peoples have faced in their homelands that include the Sand Creek Massacre, where Colonel John M. Shivington led his genocide of indigenous peoples. This history is not discussed enough among the Colorado College community, and we hope to incite thoughtful conversation between one another. Indigenous erasure continues today. For example, in Ute history, Tava Mountain, before being called Pikes Peak by colonizers, was where the Ute people originated from. Pikes Peak was only named in 1806 when Zebulon Pike attempted to summit the mountain and failed to only get lost and be saved by Spanish military. This not only celebrates a white man for his failure, but reproduces the narrative that the land was uninhabited before colonizers arrived. In spite of this erasure and violence these tribes have faced, they still continue to demonstrate resilience. We recognize the enduring presence of these communities and their ancestors who continue to influence the culture and landscape of this region. Their stewardship of the land serves as a reminder of our collective responsibility to care for the environment, to honor their traditions, and to work toward the decolonization of our institution and practices. At Colorado College specifically, we have a Native American Student Union, an Elder in Residence, and an Indigenous Studies minor, where this is the start to celebrating Native students and culture, but not the end. We first advocate for students to reflect on how we have been socialized to participate in a system that perpetuates a colonial narrative. We urge you to confront this narrative and support, honor, fight for, and celebrate the continuation and sovereignty of our programs to protect, facilitate Indigenous students' success. We call for students to attend the annual powwow at Colorado College, to engage and contribute to Indigenous economy, respect, gratitude, and the commitment to the ongoing work of reconciliation and justice. May we strive to build a future intentionally rooted in understanding and solidarity, recognizing that richness in this place is deeply intertwined with the legacies and futures of those who have long called it home. Mado, for your attention and understanding of this important matter. Thank you.
We are friendly folk here at CC and would encourage you, if you have a little bit of room in your pews, if you could scoot in towards the center aisle, so hopefully some of the others who are standing might be able to sit. Thank you. So hear these words for the invocation. Gathering for Baccalaureate, we take time set apart from other time to reflect on and be present to the college experience. As we lift up and celebrate our graduates today, we are invited to hold this moment in its fullness. As we pause and reflect on what it means to flourish, to let ideas and experiences ferment and then unfold with limitless possibilities, honoring the beauty and complexity, challenges and growth of our CC experiences as they are and as we would have liked them to have been. Having had the courage to imagine and live into new realities along the way. And as we do so, we open up space to embrace our emotions, the relief and unsettledness, the excitement and hesitation as gifts that come from having been authentically present to and engaged in this amazing education. As we breathe deeply and slowly, creating space for the wisdom of what we hold as sacred to surround us. May we be present to this time, to each other, and to our experience of this place. May it be so. Together we have traveled through waters calm and turbulent, wild and creative these past years. In this moment, surrounded by those we love, we pause, calling to mind everything we have learned, connecting to gratitude for that which we have gathered and gained during our time at CC. And as we do so, we also take time to remember what it took to get us here. Mindful of the growing pains, the loss, and grief along the way. We acknowledge and remember those who have nurtured us, inspired us to work hard to make this day possible. Those who are here today in body, those who celebrate with us from afar, and friends and loved ones who have died, who enriched our lives and are present with us in spirit. We remember them, especially classmates William Perkins Mosley and Jack Lewin Madison. In this space, may we hold a moment of silence in all of their memories. May their memory be a blessing.
Don't let me show cruelty, though I may make mistakes. Don't let me show ugliness, though I know I can hate. And don't let me show evil, though it might be all I take. Show me love, show me love, show me love. Don't let me think weakly, though I know that I can break. Keep me away from apathy while I am still awake. And don't let me think too long of the one I'm bound to face. Show me love, show me love, show me love.
Con ơi, tuy thô sơ da thịt, lên đường không bao giờ nhỏ bé được, nghe con, y phương, roughly meaning, though made of humble flesh, never belittle your willpower. Good afternoon, students, faculty, staff, family, and friends. My name is Nam Ninh, an international student from Vietnam, and that was one of my favorite Vietnamese poems about resilience in times of transition. It's my great honor today to share my reflection of that topic on behalf of class of 20 and 25. I got my acceptance letter from CC on the first day of the Vietnamese Lunar New Year, a day that I would never forget in my entire life. 4 years later, I am standing here to share with you all that CC has been the most transformational experience for me so far. I vividly remember going to a frat party with our CC ID and telling the host that I was taking women, government, and public policy. They shouted, "That's absolutely a CC class you are in." Yes, 4 years at CC has enlightened me with the history of witchcraft in Africa, the revolutions in Syria, the second wave of feminism, and the Hollywood rainbow. As a mathematical economics major graduating from CC, my favorite experience and memories about academics here will not just be running regression analysis with 15 dependent variables, but also my ethnography assignment about students stealing food from Rasto in my sociology class. That is the value of a liberal art education. I want you all, my fellow graduates, to remember when you enter the next chapter of your life, the core pillar of a CC education, interdisciplinary thinking. CC taught me that economics is not just about money. History is not just about the past, and political science is never just about the government. Whether you will be entering the workforce or going on to graduate school, it is critical to listen twice, think 3 times, and roll your tongue 4 times before putting any words out there. The ability to synthesize and consolidate knowledge of different realms will set you apart. CC might not be the best, but we are undoubtedly the most unique. The block plan might have its pros and cons, but if you have made it here today, which you all did indeed, I believe you all know how to play this game. You all have achieved incredible accomplishment within a short amount of time and a fast-paced environment. If your boss ever questions your ability in the future, tell them that I mastered organic chemistry in 3 weeks while performing 2 pieces at dance workshop and organizing events for 3 student clubs, yet managing to swing by Tony's trivia every Tuesday. CC Block Plan equips us with critical thinking, resilience, and adaptation skills to excel in post-grad life. CC Humans teach us the value of humility, authenticity, collaboration, and excellence. CC Communities teach us to value differences and to lead by example. CC Mountains inspire us to appreciate nature and to foster sustainability. From this moment onward, these will be our asset to conquer the world. As an economics major, saying any more will potentially create diminishing marginal utility. Hence, I just want to once again congratulate you all on finishing this 4-year journey. Stay humble, yet take immense pride in yourself. This time tomorrow, you might never forget. So, sleep well tonight, enjoy the ceremony, and be ready to run the world, Tigers. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sangwa, and I'm honored to be speaking here today. There's no words. I sit in silence, waiting, pondering. Where did all the time go? It feels like it was just yesterday that I landed in Colorado with my dad. I remember taking pictures of the barely visible, smoke-covered Pikes Peak, buying school supplies and things from my room I wasn't sure I needed. I still have the box of pencils we bought then. My bridge class exploring the hidden world of astrochemistry. I must have been crazy to choose that. Maybe not. I already knew that I was destined to be a biochemistry major. That first year, I only took 3 classes for my major. My first chemistry class was in the basement of Allen Hall. I thought the class looked cool, with a piano in the back, chalkboard in the front, lecture-style sitting, and no windows. I kept my tests in 3x5 note cards. I couldn't bring myself to throw them away. They hold memories of that time when I was sitting with my classmates on the 3rd floor of the library, tilting my pencil just right to get the smallest writing on the note card. I don't know to what extent the note card helped on the test, but I do know I spent too much time writing one. I hit the ground running my sophomore year. 7 of 8 blogs were for my major. I got lucky for my first organic chemistry class. We were in TAT Library 105. No lecture-style seating, no chalkboard. The multiple screens, whiteboard, and wide windows chipped away the negative stereotypes of that class. Emmy Daime and Jared Harris also helped. My next classes were back in the basement of Allen. Maybe it was the lack of windows and sunshine that led to strained group dynamics, but we made it out alive. Junior year, I blended raw chicken in Peggy Doherty's biochem and inflated a cow's lungs in Brandling Cart's biology of animals. And I learned slow and steady is key when purifying proteins. And then I ended the year in Kyrgyzstan studying Russian. Senior year, I was humbled by Sally Meyer's physical chemistry, and I regained my love for research in Nina Grovo's Biochem 2 class. I've changed a lot over these years. All the post-translational modifications from students, staff, faculty, family, and friends have shaped who I am today. I'm grateful for the people who pushed me into leadership positions that I wouldn't have wanted to be in. They've helped me to grow like a plant, seeking out sunshine, seeking out nutrition in various berries, and stretching out my branches to connect with others. As I leave college, I want to continue being more like this plant in hopes that others will enjoy and share the fruits of the collective labor of the plant people. Thank you.
Good afternoon, dear friends, families, faculty, and staff. My name is Korai, and I am honored to share a short reflection with you today. When I first arrived at CC, I was a little nervous. Everyone had told me that I would find my community, but the idea of community felt abstract and elusive. Little did I know how many different and meaningful communities I would become a part of during my time here. My first community was formed within the somewhat small confines of a Matthias triple. Though that lovely old brick building was my last choice on the housing preferences form, I am grateful that fate placed me with Wiley and Yusuf, who soon became my close friends and confidants. Throughout that first year, we made new friends, delved into classes, and enjoyed many Colorado Springs adventures, including ice cream runs to Josh and John's. These trips to Josh and John's became a common thread throughout my time at CC. During the planning of CC's 150th anniversary celebration, I was asked to join discussions regarding ways to encourage student participation in the weekend's activities. As fate would have it, one of those discussions happened over an ice cream tasting at Josh and John's. Later in the year, I returned once again with my student government peers to plan our retreat. Now, I promise you this is not an ad for an ice cream shop, but rather it demonstrates how our beloved Josh and John's is an example of a gathering place where diverse communities come together in friendship and conversation. Throughout my 4 years, I continued to engage in various organizations and activities and found myself bonding and growing with an even wider community of staff, faculty, students, and Colorado Springs residents. Communities form the fabric of our lives. They are the intricate networks that support us, challenge us, and help us grow. Through these relationships, we learn about ourselves and the world around us by discovering new perspectives, navigating differences, sharing values and ideas, and enjoying time with our peers. I will remember with great fondness dinners with friends, brainstorming sessions with students and staff, collaborating on group projects with classmates, and participating in extracurricular activities such as intramural sports and court-watching trips with fellow Injustice Watch Club members. These are some of the ways in which distinct groups of people, all part of my CC journey, have shaped who I have become. Though we may all have our differences, I think we have agreed that the one thing we all have in common is a shared appreciation for a delicious scoop of ice cream, or maybe even a root beer float. As seniors, we have all had distinguishing experiences over our years at Colorado College, pursuing different passions, overcoming obstacles, and carving out our own paths. When those paths intersect, we walk away with common shared experiences, new insights, and a stronger connection to each other. Community is something that we have to build and nurture, and that collectively empowers us to make a difference. That is an understanding you have all helped me reach. As we embark on the journey ahead, I encourage you to seek out those with whom you resonate, the people who inspire you, challenge you, and support your growth. Invest in these relationships and become an active participant in the communities that will be impactful to you and those around you. If you find the community you are seeking does not exist, embrace the opportunity to create it yourself. Congratulations, class of 2025, on our great accomplishment. In all likelihood, I'll be taking one final trip to Josh and John's this evening. I'll see you there. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Marina, and it's an honor to be asked to stand in front of you today. As a peer, I am here to share a slice of my experience to carry with you. This weekend is a celebration of years of hard work, late nights, personal growth, and many small and massive milestones that brought us here. We are surrounded by beloved friends and family, professors, and mentors, all celebrating the growth in the community we built together at Colorado College. We've all earned this moment. But as joyful as today is and tomorrow will be, it can also feel really uncertain. Okay, we graduated, now what? The structure we've known disappears overnight, and suddenly we're standing in the unfamiliar. Today, I'd like to highlight stark moments throughout my time here, both highs and low, and the courage to traverse into the unknown by means of creativity. So, standing in the unfamiliar, I know that feeling well. We all know that feeling well. I transferred to CC my sophomore year. I never toured or been to Colorado Springs. I didn't know a single person and made the decision just 1 month before school started. I justified it to my friends as everything happens for a reason, but truthfully, I had no idea what I was walking into. Behind that optimism was a lot of uncertainty. I didn't know where I would live or what this community would look like. And while we all have different experiences, we've all had our ups and downs. For me, my experience started with grief. During my time here, our class faced the loss of deeply beloved friends, William Perkins Mosley and Jack Madison. Jack is someone I loved immensely and made this place feel like home. His passing shattered any sense of belonging I had, and for a while, I didn't know how to keep moving forward. But we can't let grief sit. If we allow ourselves to process grief, it can become something truly beautiful. It can create new armor, strength, and sense of self. Through my major, the practice and theory of creativity, I found a path. I was encouraged to grieve through collage, poetry, weaving, and to explore in really strange crawling on the floor role-playing classes or making glass sculptures of my boobs. It sounds silly, but that's the beauty of creativity. It gave me the space to grieve, to ask questions, to heal, and eventually rediscover joy and play. Creativity became more than healing. It became a way of thinking, a way of processing, playing, and rediscovering who I am. Despite years of intellectualizing creativity, the step of defining it for my thesis was really difficult, but with the help of one of my advisors, we landed on this. Creativity is the engagement with the unfamiliar and the willingness to approach the familiar in unfamiliar ways. So now, as graduating seniors, that's exactly what we're doing. We're stepping into the unfamiliar with new jobs, new cities, new identities, while also reimagining the familiar, our values, relationships, and purpose. So as we stand on the edge of this next chapter, I hope you can remember this. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to be creative. Let creativity guide how you solve problems, how you build relationships, how you reimagine your purpose again and again. Use it to make meaning out of uncertainty, use it to play, use it to pivot, and use it to build a life that feels like yours. If we can meet what's ahead with curiosity, courage, and play, then we're already living creatively, and that is a powerful and different way to begin. Class of 2025, congratulations, stay creative, and stay playing. Thank you.
When I was a young girl, well, I had me a cowboy. He wasn't much to look at, just a free-range man. But that was a long time, no matter how I tried. The years just flow by like a broken down dam. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing I can hold on to believe in this living's just a hard way to go. There's flies in the kitchen. I can hear all them buzzing. I ain't done nothing since I woke up today. How the hell can a person go to work in the morning
man to say. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing I can hold on to. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go.
Lentamente.
Como tú, by Roque Dalton. Yo, como tú, el amor, amo el amor, la vida, el dulce encanto de las cosas, el paisaje celeste de los días de enero. También mi sangre bulle y río por los ojos que han conocido el brote de las lágrimas. Creo que el mundo es bello, que la poesía es como el pan de todos y que mis venas no terminan en mí, sino en la sangre unánime de los que luchan por la vida, el amor, las cosas, el paisaje y el pan, la poesía de todos.
Like you, I love love, life, the sweet smell of things, the sky-blue landscape of January days. And my blood boils up and I laugh through eyes that have known the buds of tears. I believe the world is beautiful and that poetry, like bread, is for everyone. And that my veins don't end in me, but in the unanimous blood of those who struggle for life, love, little things, landscape and poetry, the poetry of everyone.
Friends, family, and community, I'm honored to introduce Professor of Sociology Eric Popkin as the 2025 Baccalaureate speaker. As a scholar and an organizer, Professor Popkin epitomizes our obligation to social action in the liberal arts tradition. At the college, Eric has served as chair of the sociology department, dean of summer programs, and associate dean of global and community programs. As the Joanne Woodward Chair of Public Policy at Sarah Lawrence College, Professor Popkin established the first U.S. liberal arts semester program with the University of Havana, Cuba, a program which continues to this day. Furthermore, Professor Popkin served as the co-founder and initial director of the college's Collaborative for Community Engagement, an on-campus initiative which fosters community-engaged learning and action through off-campus partnerships and coalitions. As founding director of the Colorado College Social Action Institute, Professor Popkin has placed hundreds of students in high-impact organizing and capacity-building internships throughout the Southwest. Through this program, students have provided critical support for community organizers fighting against racist, anti-immigrant, and anti-labor policies, as well as one-to-one assistance for folks moving through the asylum process at the US-Mexico border. As a participant in both of these programs, I join the many individuals across the college who can attest to Professor Popkin's incredible contributions to the college and to the world writ large. Critically, Professor Popkin's work provides us with the courage and the knowledge to know where and with whom power lies, and what it means to struggle in community for a better world. For these reasons, and so many more, please join me in welcoming Professor Eric Popkin.
Thank you to Tim and to the students for nominating me. I want to offer my heartfelt congratulations to the class of 2025. Way to go. I also want to recognize and thank the parents, guardians, and families that are here today. As a proud parent of a graduating Colorado College student, I share this joy with you. It's been an honor to walk alongside my daughter and her friends, most of them, over the last 4 years and witness their growth, challenges, and triumphs. You all started college during the height of the pandemic, an uncertain and deeply disorienting time. And yet you endured, adapted, and thrived. This moment is yours. Cherish it. As we celebrate this occasion, we must recognize that graduation marks a beginning. Many of you are likely asking, what now? How is my liberal arts degree relevant in today's world? You're stepping into a world that is uncertain, politically, socially, environmentally. Today, I want to offer a bit of perspective on the current political climate. These comments are my own and do not represent the views of Colorado College. So let's do it. I want to talk to you about the escalating assault on higher education and how it's connected to broader authoritarian rule and authoritarian trends in the US and around the world. Trends rooted in white nationalism, the erosion of democratic norms, and efforts to restrict the critical thinking skills you have developed here. These actions are not just political skirmishes, they are existential threats to democratic society we aspire to live in. But I also want to stress that your education, your experience, and your values have prepared you to engage in what I call the good fight, a lifelong struggle for justice, inclusion, and a truly participatory democracy. Let me explain how I arrived at this conviction. I believe in the power of collective organizing that evolves from liberal learning, specifically critical pedagogy. Along with many educators, I'm inspired by the work of Paulo Freire, Bell Hooks, Miles Horton, and others who emphasize an education that instills critical consciousness, a process that facilitates student awareness of the oppressive structures that shape their lives, requiring an understanding of the dynamics of power, inequality, and justice, and one's agency to contribute to social change. This form of education is rooted in dialogue and problem-based work. I first considered these issues when reading C. Wright Mills in my intro sociology class in college. Mills's conception of the sociological imagination allows students to see how their personal problems, which may seem like individual failings, are often rooted in broader structural, systemic, and social forces. This approach helps us see power and the working of institutions, and thus it gives us a way to inform action through engagement with social movements, policy or advocacy work, and envision broad-based social change. But I did not really understand the transformative potential of education until I engaged in human rights work in El Salvador right out of college in the 1980s. El Salvador in the 1980s was in the grip of a brutal US-backed military regime responsible for over 70,000 civilian deaths. I lived in peripheral urban communities outside of San Salvador and worked along grassroots educators using Paulo Freire's critical literacy methods. In these literacy circles, facilitators led discussions that help communities not only learn to read and write, but understand their conditions and act to change them. I watched people begin to see their lives as connected to larger systems of oppression and injustice. Out of these discussions came community-run daycare centers, healthcare promoter programs, community bakeries, concrete expressions of collective self-determination. That experience showed me what happens when people, especially the marginalized, gain tools to question the status quo. It also taught me that those in power feel threatened by this process. They fear informed, engaged, critically conscious citizens. And that fear is at the heart of what we're seeing in the United States today. The liberal arts education you received here at Colorado College, grounded in questioning, dialogue, interdisciplinary inquiry, and civic engagement, is precisely the kind of education that authoritarian movements seek to dismantle. The current political moment is not just about cultural disagreements or budget cuts. It's about power. And that power is being consolidated by targeting institutions that cultivate democratic agency, critical thought, and social responsibility. Over the past 100+ days, the higher education sector has confronted unprecedented government interference to advance a narrow political agenda. Funding cuts, grant terminations, caps on indirect costs tied to grants from the National Science Foundation and National Institutes of Health have been enacted, undercutting scientific and medical innovation. Proposed legislation will significantly increase taxes on college endowments. Institutions like Harvard and Columbia are facing punitive audits and legal threats aimed at restructuring their governance, hiring, and admissions practices. States like Texas and Indiana are attempting to overturn faculty tenure and insert political oversight into curriculum and hiring decisions. Student financial aid restructuring, led by a gutted Department of Education, will threaten low-income student ability to afford college. At the same time, university programs designed to ensure access and equity in education are being scapegoated as ideological indoctrination and dismantled under the false pretense that they promote division. Book bans, restrictions on discussions of race and gender, and censorship of academic fields are part of a coordinated effort to weaken institutions that foster collective consciousness and democratic resistance. A particularly insidious part of this effort involves targeting international students, especially Palestinian and Muslim students, under the guise of national security and combating anti-Semitism. The revocation of student visas, arbitrary detentions, and deportations have been used to silence dissent. Students like Mahmoud Khalil were detained for advocating for Palestinian rights. I have visited the Jana LaSalle Detention Center in rural Louisiana where he's being held. I was there with Colorado College students participating in the CC Social Action Institute, a program I direct. The horrendous conditions in this private, for-profit facility, documented in a recent report by the ACLU and other human rights organizations on Louisiana detention facilities, include sexual assault and other physical abuse, torturous solitary confinement, forced shackling for long periods of time, poor health care and lack of providing prescribed medicine for chronic medical conditions, and poor food quality. These detentions are a deliberate effort to silence Palestinian and other students exercising their free speech rights. These actions are carried out in a manner consistent with U.S. support contributing to the dehumanization of Palestinians in their own country. Gaza is currently experiencing a catastrophic humanitarian crisis, given the total blockade of food and other aid amidst an ongoing push to militarily displace Palestinians. A report this week stated that Palestinians in Gaza face the real possibility of famine as the death toll exceeds 50,000, and some on-the-ground reports put this number at well over 100,000 people. These actions are not protecting anyone. As a Jewish man, I want to say clearly, I recognize and condemn the disturbing rise of global anti-Semitism, the vast majority of which is fueled by white nationalism. But I also recognize when anti-Semitism is cynically invoked to justify the suppression of free speech and academic freedom. Michael Roth, the president of Wesleyan University, who is Jewish, recently wrote that the current wave of government crackdowns on speech, faculty, and student activism poses a far greater threat to Jews than campus protests ever could. Quote, "Jews have been here before," he writes, "many times, and it does not end well for us," end quote. The silencing of Palestinian voices, the criminalization of protests, and the policing of thought are not about safety. They are about control. And it doesn't stop with students or universities. These same forces are being directed at immigrants, at communities of color, at trans and queer people, and the poor. The government is using immigration as a testing ground for authoritarian policies, like the invocation of a wartime provision in peacetime to deport people without even minimal due process to El Salvador, as happened to Kilmar Abrego Garcia. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a pattern, a system, a strategy connected to authoritarianism. That system is rooted in a vision of governance emphasizing neoliberal principles and ideology that geographer Ruth Wilson Gilmore calls the anti-state state. A state that exists not to serve the people, but to surveil and punish them. The state abandons its role as a guarantor of the public good by providing education, healthcare, environmental protection in favor of militarization, policing, privatization, and repression. So what is demanded of you and all of us at this moment? Higher ed institutions have a responsibility to call out the motives underlying the attacks on the higher ed sector, make the case on how higher education upholds democracy, and support not only academic freedom, but actively defend the student and faculty right to free speech. To garner enhanced public support for our mission, we need to bolster our connection to our local and regional communities by extending our mission outwards to support public libraries, public schools, other higher ed institutions in our state, and bolster our collaborative programming in areas such as community journalism and prison education that directly enhance democracy. To our graduates, I want to leave you with 3 issues to reflect on and hopefully act on in the days ahead. 1, continue to cultivate your critical consciousness. Your ability to think critically, question assumptions, and communicate across difference is not incidental. It demonstrates the transformative power of education and is crucial for the pursuit of the change we need. Your task is to craft a strategy to confront and engage with a world dominated by algorithms, intentional distraction, and political polarization. As Henry Giroux reminds us, no education is neutral. The push for a so-called patriotic education is a push for obedience, not inquiry. Speak up and push back against false narratives that equate critical thought with disloyalty. Continue to set aside time for deep reading. Study history, particularly those cases of authoritarianism that have existed in other countries, and how popular movements in Brazil, Chile, countries in Eastern Europe and elsewhere have resisted and won. Consider how and why authoritarianism is expanding globally to delineate strategies to counter this trend. 2, organize and engage the good fight. We are all organizers now. Whether you become scientists, educators, artists, business people, policymakers, parents, your role is to uphold, restructure, and create participatory democratic institutions. The first step is to afford yourself the grace to imagine a better world, because a better world is possible. Construct that world. Construct that world by organizing in your communities, participate in local government, demand better from your workplaces, your schools, your elected officials. Participate in mutual aid efforts that support families and communities, such as communal and intergenerational housing, shared kitchens, and childcare shifts. Let your values guide your actions. And 3, embrace solidarity, adopt a global framework, and recognize the connection between struggles. We cannot fight for democracy in isolation. The struggles of Palestinians, Muslims, immigrants, the unhoused, people of color, those fighting for reproductive rights, and trans communities are not peripheral. They are central to this work. Build coalitions that cut across borders, identities, ideologies, and issues, as intersectoral organizing is an essential tool in this struggle, not just to survive, but to reimagine how we live together. Learn from social movements that have constructed transnational linkages, such as the anti-apartheid movement, the civil rights movement, and global South movements that have resisted the privatization of natural resources. The concept of solidarity is central to this work. I am reminded of the Uruguayan journalist Eduardo Galeano's comments on solidarity. Quote, "I don't believe in charity. I believe in solidarity. Charity is so vertical. It goes from top to bottom. Solidarity is horizontal. It respects the other person. I have a lot to learn from other people." End quote. I'm not going to pretend that the road ahead is clear or will not require sacrifice. But I am optimistic because I believe if we open ourselves to learn from others, work alongside others, we can build a better world. I am inspired by diverse, youth-led immigrant rights movements and by the current resistance to the capture of immigrants in local communities. I'm inspired by elderly people with disabilities who are protesting cuts to Medicaid in Congress, and by trans activist-led mobilization, indigenous-led struggles against oil pipelines 3 and 5, and many other efforts. Embrace the good fight, and you will have the opportunity to engage with people like you who want to build a better world. People who are willing to fight not just for their own future, but for the future of others. You are prepared for this moment. I am confident that together we will prevail. Cherish this weekend, and congratulations to all of you.
cambia lo superficial, cambia también lo profundo, cambia el modo de pensar, cambia todo en este mundo, cambia el clima con los años, cambia el pastor su rebaño, y así como todo cambia, que yo cambie no es extraño, cambia el más fino brillante, de mano a mano su brillo, cambia el nido el pajarillo, cambia el sentir un amante, cambia el rumbo el caminante, aunque esto le cause daño, y así como todo cambia, que yo cambie no es extraño, cambia, todo cambia, cambia, todo cambia, cambia, todo cambia. Cambia, todo cambia, cambia el sol en su carrera, cuando la noche subsiste, cambia el pelaje que le viste, de verde en la primavera, cambia el pelaje la fiera, cambia el cabello el anciano, y así como todo cambia, que yo cambie no es extraño, pero no cambia mi amor, por más lejos que me encuentre, ni el recuerdo ni el dolor de mi pueblo y de mi gente, y lo que cambió ayer tendrá que cambiar mañana, así como cambio yo en esta tierra lejana. Cambia, todo cambia, cambia, todo cambia, cambia, todo cambia. Cambia, todo cambia, pero no cambia mi amor, por más lejos que me encuentre, ni el recuerdo ni el dolor de mi tierra y de mi gente, y lo que cambió ayer tendrá que cambiar mañana, así como cambio yo en esta tierra lejana. Cambia, todo cambia, cambia, todo cambia, cambia, todo cambia, cambia, todo cambia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yanla. I will be offering this on behalf of my beloved friend Camila, who is sick today. So let's send her some love. I'm going to lead us all through a short meditation as we mark and sit in gratitude for this moment of transition. I invite you all to close your eyes. Feel your feet on the ground and the weight of your body supported by the seat beneath you. Bring attention to your breath, letting it flow in and out with ease. Let your body relax and sink deeper into your seat, into the feeling of support. Now I invite you all, students, parents, and faculty, to bring to mind your memory of the last 4 years, or whatever period of your life that you might be ready to transition from. Let memories from this time flow. Images, words, feelings, significant people, places, or experiences. Let yourself feel gratitude for the connections you made, the experiences you had, and all the ways in which you grew. Now bring to mind something that you'd like to leave behind in this place or in this time as you move on to the next phase of your life. It might be a habit, a mindset, a relationship. It could be an image or words. Imagine that you're holding this thing in your hands and thank it for all that you've learned from it. Now imagine that you're releasing it to the wind, letting the wind take it in its liberating embrace, trusting that it's going where it needs to go and that you no longer have to carry it. Now bring to mind something that you would like to take with you into the next phase of your life. Something that you've picked up during this time that you'd really like to keep. It might be a relationship, a mindset, a passion. Again, imagine that you're holding this thing in your hands and thank it for what it has shown you. Now you can imagine taking that thing and placing it somewhere in your being for safekeeping. You can put it in your pocket or bring it into your heart. Trust that it will stay with you wherever you go. You can start to bring your attention back to your breath, back to your body, back to the space that we are in together. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you. Hi, it's me again. So for this next part, I'm going to need your help. And if you want to open your programs to the section where there are song lyrics, I've had the privilege of writing a song in honor of the senior class, built entirely out of memories they shared with me via Google Forms. And when I sing the chorus, I invite you all to sing the chorus with me. I will sing it 3 times. The first time, if you catch on, feel free to join in. And at the end, I will sing it twice over so you can join in. Let's go over it now. It's gonna go something like this. The road behind me winds into a memory. Can you repeat that? You guys should take my job. And all the stars ahead remind me to breathe. Yeah, beautiful. And that's all, it's just those 2 lines. And if you can catch on, please join, and here's the song. Never seen a sky so big before.
for this blue. Never had my ass kicked and my heart broke on the same mountain who just kept smiling as I rode down its face like tears and watered all its flowers. You're covered in spring and I'm buzzing around like a strawberry shortcake surprise on the counter when I open my eyes. And guns turn to garden tools and bikes fly to moons. You a clock tower bell making hell for the night owls. And we go so fast through the beer and the doubt and the tears and the task of growing out of ourselves into ourselves. Think it's kind of funny, don't you? I'm covered in spring and you're singing my favorite song. If somebody stole my car, but your giggle stole my heart, so I'll cruise on the colors of your silly art. Ooh, even when we are apart. The road behind me winds into a memory, and all the stars ahead remind me to breathe with you. And I won't. Never had a thing for dancing. Then I found you on the roof of a cabin at the bottom of the mountain I cried to, and we gathered stones and circles of prayer to leave her with our reverence. Never felt so grateful to feel so damn small. The world is so cruel and kind like home and doesn't mind my worries. Cover my ears for the motor brigade. Down Utah, you think you're hot shit, but you never ate at Rusty's. I'm out when you speak, like my phone in the microwave. I don't recommend doing that, by the way. The road behind me winds into a memory, and all the stars ahead remind me to breathe with you.
Please join us standing in body or spirit for the benediction. Classmates, friends, and family, thank you for sharing your time and energy with all of us these past 4 years.
After spending so much time here in Shove Chapel, Gabriel and I find ourselves at the beginning of our spiritual journeys. In the same way, we find ourselves today at the beginning of lives dedicated to intellectual inquiry, audacious adventure, and communal love, virtues all of us share. We have found great support in our web, in our people, and the land under our feet.
As we prepare to leave Shove and this baccalaureate, may we remember our beginnings and the way we persevered through the pandemic. May we remember the excitement of unmasking our hopes and fears, the excitement of finding friends and lovers, and the excitement of exploring the beautiful land around us.
May we always observe sacred time to rejuvenate, whether in the forest, desert, mountains, or at home. May we always preserve our dedication to our work and each other, even in the midst of pressing deadlines. May we rejoice in our growth amidst uncertainty. May we appreciate the resilience of our ever-evolving webs.
May we honor the people we've come to be, and more importantly, those who've been crucial in our becoming. May we cherish the potential of this place and carry it in ourselves wherever we end up. Gracias y vamos.
Let us take one more breath together.
Amen.